thank you for joining us. This is the Love What You Do and Other Insights from Microsoft MVP session. You two in the front can't hear a word I'm saying because you don't have your headphones on. What we were talking about up here in the prep is this is not my first time presenting on one of these things or using one of these things. The last time, though, was sort of like a rave, and people could pick their types of music. So if you were blue, you were one type of music. If you were green, another type of music. Red, another type of music. And in this context, if you were red, and I see you just switched off, it means you're listening to somebody else's conversation, so make sure you guys are on blue, okay? All right, thank you for taking the time this afternoon. My name is Manuel. I'm the General Manager of the Microsoft platform here at Apttus, and it's my pleasure to host this panel this afternoon to talk about Microsoft MVP. So I'll go through introductions. First, Blake Skarlavy. Tell us about yourself, Blake.
So I'm Blake Skarlavy. I'm a development principal at Sonoma Partners. And at Sonoma, we help implement both Salesforce and Dynamics CRM for customers. And I'm on the technical side, so I help design the solution and help tech lead those implementations.
How long have you been in the industry, Blake?
I've been working on CRM for 9.5 years, all Microsoft focused.
Okay, great. And where are you joining us from?
Chicago.
All right, Chicago, my hometown. Okay, next up is Frank Lee. Frank, give us your background.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Frank, and I've been a Microsoft CRM MVP for about 10 years straight. Been in the industry for about 20 years, doing nothing but CRM. My focus is on obviously CRM, but Microsoft, and one of the key industry I like to help out with is the wineries. Anyone likes the Opus One winery? There you go. They have great CRM solution.
All right. Thank you, Frank. And Frank joins us from the other side of town, so long commute for you this morning. And finally, Gretchen. Gretchen, welcome.
Yes, welcome everyone. My name is Gretchen, Op for Q, in case you're wondering how to say that. I am the Director of Education at Power Objects. We are a Minneapolis-based firm that focuses on Dynamics 365, and I've been working with Dynamics CRM, or the CRM workloads, for about 10 years. Have been an MVP for 4 years now.
Great. Thank you, and welcome, Gretchen. Okay, so let's get right into it. We'll take a couple of questions, and I'll kind of pass the virtual baton down the line. Let's start with you, Blake. First of all, what is a Microsoft MVP, and how did you become a Microsoft MVP?
Yeah, so Microsoft MVP is a person that's recognized by Microsoft for their expertise and contributions to a specific product area. So for pretty much every product Microsoft has, they have a group of MVPs. The three of us are specific to Dynamics CRM. And it's just measured through expertise and contributions to help grow the community and advocate for Microsoft and CRM. And it's through different ways of publishing content, such as blogs, white papers, Twitter, YouTube videos, etc., speaking engagements, even developing tools that you release to the community or sharing code snippets or whatnot. So every once in a while, Microsoft, you have to be nominated by another MVP that notices the contributions you do, and Microsoft evaluates those and recognizes the certain people as MVP.
So how did you get into it? What was the day when you woke up and you found you are an MVP in your inbox?
Yeah, so 9.5 years of CRM, all at Sonoma, and we're doing several different types of projects. So after a few years of doing it, even myself trying to find help online, coming across forums, I would realize as I was looking for help, I was able to answer some of other people's questions as well, and it became really fun actually. And there's a lot of gamification on those forums, like Stack Overflow and whatnot, with the scores, and so just kept trying to take time out of the day during lunch before getting into work, checking out the forums and helping solve problems. And then I'm on the development side, so I would also notice product gaps and try to help fill those by building a utility that I would release for free. And so that's kind of how I got in.
Great. Gretchen, you probably heard yesterday from some of the talks yesterday about how community is a large part of the Apttus value proposition, and clearly you're a leader in the Dynamics 365 community. What's your background? How did you get to become an MVP?
Well, just like Blake, I've participated a lot in the forums. I also do like to speak and share my knowledge in that regard, so I'm heavily involved in Microsoft has, it's actually not a part of Microsoft at all, but there's a user group that's completely separately led for all of the Microsoft Dynamics solutions, and so I'm heavily involved in the regional meetings that they have, as well as the annual summits that they have, and actually we'll be out next week, Monday and Tuesday, speaking at a regional event that they're having in St. Louis. So just doing a lot of sharing knowledge that way, and just like Blake, that was picked up, and actually you can be nominated by another MVP or by Microsoft. You can self-nominate as well, but probably less likely to do that, and once you are nominated, then they will ask you to basically list out everything that you've done in the last year, and based on that they will score you and select MVPs, and they do that every month now, right? So there's about 80 MVPs just for the CRM workloads of Dynamics 365, and they renamed us recently. We're now Business Solutions MVPs, right? So we're not CRM MVPs anymore, but...
That's great, and just to reemphasize that point, across all of Microsoft in the Dynamics space, the top 80 or so experts out in the field are these MVPs. We have 3 of them up here on stage, so very honored to have you guys. Frank, what's your story?
Gosh, it's been a long time, like 11 years ago, so I don't have all the precise info. One thing I do recall that's very important was I said I want to make a name for myself, and that's how you get out there and people find you, like you guys, and connect up with other smart people in this particular area I'm making money in, which is Microsoft CRM solutions. One thing that comes top to the list is one-trick pony. Being a one-trick pony is, and I'm basically night and day dedicated to a particular product solution, in this case Microsoft CRM. And somehow by sweating through night and day, and at that time, 10 years ago, it was a little bit more easier product, and it's got expanded quite exponentially. So you get to write your articles, try out different things, test it out, and sharing with others. And that gets your name noticed around the ecosystem. And anyone that's kind of investing in this solution kind of pick me up, potentially have revenue recognition in that sense, and that's good for my business. One-trick pony, I think that's what got me to it, and I got nominated. But precisely who, maybe I bought a bear for somebody, I don't know how I got nominated at that point.
All right, so a large part of what you guys do is obviously staying up to date on the latest Microsoft products and technologies. So why don't we dive into that for a bit? Maybe Gretchen, start with you. How do you stay up to date with the latest Microsoft products and technologies?
As an MVP, we actually have access to the preview of the technologies that Microsoft releases. So for the most part, unless through the agile process we are deploying things without preview, sometimes that happens as well, but for the most part we get access to a preview for probably about 6 weeks before it's released, and so I spend a lot of time working hands-on with the preview. One of my kind of tricks is I'm extremely busy, and so I like to procrastinate as well. And so I like to sign myself up to either write an article or do a blog or a presentation on a topic, which forces me to jump into it. So next Tuesday I have to do a live demo of some features that I'm not super familiar with. I probably will have to spend a significant amount of time. I'm currently spending a significant amount of time preparing for that, and that forces me to dive in and get up to date on that feature.
Okay, and in our conversation before, we talked about Favorite thing and least favorite thing, least favorite part of being an MVP. What would you say is the most enjoyable aspect, most fulfilling aspect of being an MVP? And then what's the thing where, you know, if the creators of the program were sitting right here and you could change it, that you would say, hey, you know, let's do things a little differently?
I really like the direct access to the product team that Microsoft gives the MVPs. They've done a big effort to make sure that the MVPs have a good relationship with the product team and are able to communicate. So being in the Director of Education, I am very interested in the Learning Paths feature that Microsoft is developing and releasing for Dynamics 365, which is basically a on-the-screen walkthrough that will kind of train people. And so I've been able to actually get on the phone with the person that's in charge of that project and talk to him about what I like and don't like about it. And that's access that, you know, the general partner doesn't have, the customer doesn't often have, and so that trust that we have. So that's the best thing. The thing that I would change a little bit is having more focus groups. The reason why I was wanted to get one-on-one with the person managing that is because they initially had a call with all the MVPs about the learning paths, where I'm like super interested in it. There's 80 MVPs and they're not all interested in it. So that one-to-many communication doesn't exactly work sometimes. So I would ask them to change that and make more focus groups.
Okay. And I'll go to you next, Frank. How do you continue staying up to date in technologies? Thing you like and thing you don't like?
Well, I'm here, I mean, I reside in Silicon Valley, and I see how the speed of change is, especially the last decade or so fast. And the reason why that relates to this, you know, how I stay up is, you know, how Microsoft was more moving like a snail pace, I would say about 5 years ago or so. When I say snail pace, it means relative to the startups mentality here. And that's like release cycle every 2 to 3 years or 4 years, something like that, where you could have enough breathing room to figure out what to do and learn it and become good at it, right? But now that the whole Microsoft mojo's back, you know, they changed their mentality more like a startup, where they have product release cycles, gosh, every like half a year or so. You know, major releases within a year, right? That's a lot of stuff to keep up. And what I could figure out now is I have to change my strategy. How do you keep up with this? I think the thing that worked for me before is just still being the one-trick pony, but now you got one-trick pony and a one-trick industry or something, you know? So you pick a particular feature capability in CRM, for example, like me, mobile space. And there are a lot of, Microsoft definitely gung-ho in the mobile space right now. A lot of solutions that will help the customer be good at what they do in the CRM space with that. And then pick an industry that I'm real good at, or like to be good at, or passionate about. So that's how I stay up.
All right.
And still get a few hours of sleep.
All right. Thing you like, thing you don't like?
Oh, on top of my list, definitely the mobile space. There's a lot of innovation there. So for example, like just within the last year, the out-of-the-box product has a pretty workable mobile solution. That means I could take my iPad, my browser, my tablet on the Apple iPhone platform, and it works connecting to CRM, right? And out of the box, it's pretty functional. So I'm really excited about that, and that's something that I'm setting up best practices for our winery customers and other type of industry customers that we help with. The opposite of that is like the challenge is also other solutions that are available. Again, they're startup mentality. They come up so many nice, awesome functionality, but in order to be good at it, you just have to allocate the amount of time. And that's things I feel, I would say, not too good about, that I can't keep up with all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. And Blake, for you again, for many in the audience might be new to the Microsoft ecosystem and just impressed by the breadth of Microsoft product catalog, but maybe overwhelmed. So you're an expert, you're an MVP. How do you stay up to date on the technologies and make sure you can digest it all? And what's your perspective there?
Yeah, so I have a bit of a luxury with my job working on different implementations, different types of clients. So it's a lot of times they're focused on a certain solution that Microsoft comes out. They're coming out with a lot now or acquiring, so I can get up to speed that way. But for me, I'm just passionate about technology in general. So what I try to do is newer technology, even if it's not Microsoft, like Alexa, for example. I just recently built a proof of concept of, we use CRM internally at Sonoma and to manage all our projects and resources. And so I was trying to think of, if I had Alexa at my desk, like what could I do to interact with CRM, and just built some quick answers, like if I ask how many estimated hours do I have, and Alexa will go into our CRM, do a query, figure that out for me, and relay the answer. So just try to spend the extra time and trying to figure out a lot of newer technologies, especially artificial intelligence, and how can I work that into with Dynamics.
So is that your favorite thing, your most exciting thing, the AI aspect? So what is the most exciting thing?
Yeah, so in terms of the program, I think, start with the bad first. Gretchen kind of mentioned it. Microsoft is moving towards more agile, releasing things, which is great. But for the MVPs, like a lot of times we only get it shortly before it comes out, and we like to, play around with it. And a lot of times we have a lot of customers, and we can figure out those nuances before it goes live. And a lot of times that's not the case. But on the flip side to that, as MVPs, we get right into the ear of Microsoft, so we can influence where the product's going based on our work with it and our customers as well.
Okay. You can influence where the product is going. So now you're ready for the next question. What's the future of Microsoft Dynamics CRM? Where is it going? So I'll let you rest for a second. Frank, you can jump in first. You guys are among the top 80 experts within the Microsoft Dynamics CRM ecosystem. You have exclusive access to things that the rest of us don't see. You have exclusive relationships that we don't have. So where's it going? What can we expect to see from Microsoft in this space, or what should we see in this space?
Wow, okay. They changed the name overall CRM now, and they're phasing out that name to come Dynamics 365. And I think the future is that they're trying to integrate the CRM, the relationship side, to the rest of the digital system. They call them digital transformation. I'm sure you've heard of it. That ERP, mobile, cloud, all those apps connecting together. So they try to de-emphasize the CRM because it's part of the whole digital transformation of a solution. Connected more easily, so built rapidly. What does it mean for me, and then how I make more money out of this? For example, right now, like when we do a solution session with existing customers, we pretty much like start with these mobile apps first, like a UI, right? We don't even traditionally use like the PC that we're doing. But basically, how does a particular design flow through the end customer journey, but they center around a mobile device, like iPhone. And then we basically mock up, prototype all that using that design first and permeate through the rest of the design cycle. That's all out-of-box capability right now. So imagine that you could use something like the mobile option for CRM, and also the app, Microsoft, there's like Power Apps flows that you pretty much build those things, mobile experience. One single app that could build mobile experience that could cross-populate other browsers' capability, right? And that's where I think it's headed. It's definitely going like much more easier to build a solution that's like what everybody wants, and that's where everybody pay me more money, right?
All right, so Dynamics more as a mobile platform for development for business applications.
And easier connecting to the rest of the digital system.
Okay, all right, great. Yeah. Gretchen, how about you? Where is it headed? Where's the future?
I have a couple things. One I saw just today actually is Microsoft is developing this relationship insights capability. It's in preview right now, and I am very excited about where it's going. I saw some screenshot of sort of a red, yellow, green on my records, which I've actually been wanting for a long time. We talk about the 360-degree view of the customer, but people don't want to go to a customer record and do research. They don't want to have 500 pieces of information that they have to synthesize. They want some basic high-level information. So I'm seeing some of that color coding, some of that high-level information coming in. That kind of ties with the second one, which is Internet of Things. We're getting into doing a lot of those kind of projects at Power Objects where we're tying actual things into the picture of what's going on with the customer, the service picture, especially. So I think that's going to be a huge aspect if we can combine the power of artificial intelligence and some of the data analytics and the Internet of Things. I think there's just a huge firestorm, exciting firestorm, not a destructive firestorm.
Okay. Great.
Of fun things coming our way.
Good. Sounds exciting. Blake, how about you?
Yeah, and similar with analytics and artificial intelligence, I think machine learning is going to be huge. There's just so much data in CRM. Pretty much for any one of my customers, I can think of a use case for machine learning, especially internally. Trying to build an algorithm that's calculating opportunity probability for all our opportunities, so our salespeople don't have to manually figure out that probability. So it's learning based off all the historical data there, based off opportunities that were won and closed in the past, and using that data, those data points, because it's all in your CRM. So I think Microsoft's are already pulling some of that in with like product recommendations or using machine learning. I think that's just going to expand even more.
Great. So the ideas of platform and machine learning and data and instrumentation, very much in line with some of the themes that we've seen over the last 2 days here at Apttus Accelerate. Okay, real quick, we just have a minute or two left. What's the best way for people to take advantage of your expertise to interact with the MVP community? Those of us who are not MVPs, what's the best way for us to interact with the MVP community?
Well, if you're learning Dynamics 365, there are forums. If you go to the forums, you're probably going to be talking to some of us. Those forums are moderated and responded to by MVPs. And then, of course, through the user group, I have to make a plug for that. So if you're involved with Dynamics 365 at all and you're not involved with the user group, get plugged in. There's conferences, there's local meetings, there's online forums, everything that you can do with crmug.com.
Great. Blake, Frank?
Yeah, I think we all have blogs. Share our knowledge there, and you can hit us up that way, and through LinkedIn and any Microsoft-related conference where there's usually an MVP there.
Yeah.
MVPs were just invited to speak at Ignite
Okay.
in September, so
Okay.
if you're planning to attend that Microsoft conference,
Apttus will be there,
yes.
and so we will meet you again there, if not before. Okay. Gretchen, Blake, and Frank, thank you so much for questions. Maybe we can take it outside. It looks like we're right about at time. And I want to thank you for joining us today, those of you in the audience, for learning more about the Microsoft MVPs. Thank you.
Thank you.